Hi, I'm Katherine. So I googled what. I googled what joy to the world meant, and apparently it means an intense feeling of happiness and pleasure. And that got me thinking about intense feelings of happiness and pleasure. And actually, I want to argue that we shouldn't be thinking about joy. We should be thinking about just being 7 out of 10. That's much better than being joyful. So today I'm going to talk about some areas we might want to think about being just a 7 out of 10 in exactly 1 second when it moves. How long does this take? Which bit am I looking at here? There we go. So in the startup world, I've got, it's not really a startup anymore, it's a little bit bigger than that, but it's still small. Everyone talks about being a unicorn and how fabulous it'll be, and you're kind of thrown into this funnel of you've got to be a unicorn, and you've got to grow, and you've got to grow, and you've got to grow, and you'll get joy if you do all that. Well, I'm not sure you will. I think you could be a lot happier person if you just have your stuffed unicorn. You just have your stuffed unicorn, and you have a business which makes you happy, and you have your mental health, and you have happy relationships. Maybe that is a sign of having a successful startup. Maybe you don't need to get some gazillion-dollar valuation, and you can just be a happier, more content person. Education. So I work in education, and day in and day out, I see this desire to make learning such a joyful experience. We got to throw colour at everything, shove stuff on the walls, make it all so fun. The kids will just absorb things if they're just having joy all the time. Well, actually, the science tells us that's a load of bloody crap. That's how children learn. They learn practicing stuff over and over again. So these are some of the things that people have said about teaching phonics. Well, actually, with stuff like learning your timetables, learning your sounds, learning to play an instrument, it's not about joy, it's about learning this shit. Parenting, the parent myth. The parent myth that we have to fill our children's lives with just endless joy. So we go to a farm, followed by we go to gymnastics, and we might do some yoga, and we go to a sushi making course. And actually, that's not what parenting's like. Parenting's a lot harder than that. Like this. This is my exceptional parenting. It's called good enough parenting. This child is in warmth. She's clothed. She's kind of being fed. She'll survive. There is no experience there. I'm just bored to buggery because, let's be honest, parenting is bloody hard and bloody boring. And then you have to do Christmas, and you have to do this elf on the shelf crap, where you have for 24 days, you have to freeze an elf on one day, and then you have to wait for it to defrost, and then you have to put on your radiator, and you have to let it dry out. That's day one. You have to do this for 24 bloody days, and then you are a joyful parent. I'm not signing up for that. I'm not doing it. Then we get on to love. So from the age of 3, you're fed this diet of doughy-eyed, big-eyed love, where you get this unconditional love, and that you'll find your soulmate, and you'll live happily forever after. Well, that's not true. And as we become teenagers, we're fed this shit. Who's seen The Notebook? Awful film. I watched the trailer last night, and do you know what they said in it? They had nothing in common, but from the moment he saw Ali, something snapped. That's bollocks! You've got to have something in common. You don't just let something snap and everything works out right. Love is a lot more like this. You're bored of each other. You don't like each other that much. It's kind of bloody dull. This is the kind of movie I want to see, not crappy old Notebook. I have been reading a book at the moment called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which is about to come up. And in it, he talks about the question of what do you want from life? And if I went around the room, you'd all probably say pretty much the same thing. I want a fantastic career. I want children who are joyful. I want a partner who's joyful. And actually, the better question is, what pain are you prepared to go through to get what you want from life? And that kind of changes it from being, I want a 10 out of 10 out of life, to I want a 7 out of 10 out of life. And I think that's what everyone's aim should be. Stop trying to be the best in every bloody thing. Just be good enough, and you'll probably be a little bit happier. Which is why I kind of did this presentation, and then it got to the next slide, and I didn't have anything to say, because, you know what, I'm 7 out of 10.